What's the worst physical pain you've ever felt? Kidney stones. Felt like I was being stabbed from the inside. Felt this way about gallstones. I literally thought I would die from the pain. It was like I was injected with battery acid. Sciatica. Herniated 5 discs at once. Didn't walk for 2 years. There are many versions of hell, that's one of them. I have a mild version. It's like trying to sleep with a knife in your ass cheek. Had an ingrown nail removed from my big toe. Soon after the anesthetic wore off, someone accidentally stepped on it. Man, the shot they gave me to remove mine had me scream like I was giving birth, then he wanted to do the other foot. Cluster headaches. Like an ice pick so hot it's red stabbed in eye. On top of that pain, throughout the attack there's a bonus where it feels like the ice pick is jabbed harder and jerked up and down, creating more intense pain than the ice pick just being in the eye. Some attacks last 3 to 4 hours. Yep. Gotta be this. They're called suicide headaches for a reason. I had a pretty bad episode a few years back where I'd get one and it would last for a half hour or so. About every 4 to 6 hours. For 2 months. They'd wake me up in the night. I'd dread them all day. I remember burying my head in a pillow and screaming and squeezing my head so hard I thought I'd break my own skull and thinking maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing if I did. I'd get so agitated that I couldn't sit still. I had to cancel plans and trips and just drop whatever I was doing to try to cope. Of course, the main recommendations are reduce stress and get more sleep, which are both absolutely impossible when your life is just pinballing between anxiety and pain. Even now, just the thought of one induces panic almost to the point of dissociation. Some things in this thread sound more intensely painful, but I cannot imagine anything short of intentional torture that combines that level of pain and dread. When my body was on fire, but only after it got put out. During the fire was just pure fear. My thumb was once on fire after an electrical mishap. No pain while my flesh was burning. But it sure is terrifying to see your charred flesh and not feel pain like your brain thinks should be happening logically. Being ran over from my ankle to my shoulder. And having road rash across 40% of my body. Front teeth broken and knocked out. Yes, that was 20 years ago, actually engaged to the woman who did it. We have 2 children together. Blink twice if you need help. All dental pain. All of it. Ovarian torsion that resulted in the ovary rupturing and hemorrhaging. I'd rate it a solid negative 200 out of 10. Nerve pain from herniated L5 disc. Fentanyl, morphine, Valium, Dilaudid, didn't touch it. Couldn't sleep more than 2 hours a night for more than 2 weeks. Was putting pressure on the S1 nerve root so my hole would cramp. Couldn't stand up straight. Couldn't sit or stand for more than 20 minutes. I've given birth, by C-section, with a failed epidural by the 4th centimeter. I've had an eardrum rupture, and that nerve pain is the worst thing I've experienced because painkillers don't do anything for it. I had similar issue. Months of going from hospital to hospital asking for an MRI only to be given different types of pain meds and being told to do some stretches and I'd be fine. No pain meds helped anything. Only morphine injection, when I finally got a doctor to put me in an MRI, took the edge off. And I was still only able to stay curled in a ball. Disc had curled back into spinal cavity and cut off the root of the nerve. By that time my whole leg was not only in a constant Charlie horse, but my foot and knee and swollen like crazy from walking differently when I could muster the strength to walk. Whole body was covered in rug burn because dragging myself was the only way I could move a lot of the time. As soon as I came out of the MRI, the surgeon put me in the surgery queue for the next day and said if they didn't act ASAP I could have permanent nerve damage, be paralyzed partially on that side. Waking up from the surgery was so fucking glorious. Could feel the nerve coming alive again. No pain down the leg, except the swelling in knee and foot. Only localized back pain. I almost cried. Before the surgery I had seriously considered killing myself if I had to live in that pain much longer. Had a bit of a relapse about 6 months later. A friend recommended a book called The Back Mechanic by Stuart McGill. Helped me a ton from learning how to work out and move in everyday functions differently. Haven't had any issues since, knock on wood. Hopefully you're in a good spot now. Scalding hot soup melted through the takeout container on my lap in the car. Second-degree burns to my thighs and crotch. When the doctor peeled my jeans away from the blistered skin, I feel sick thinking about it. JFC, your case reminds me of the McDonald's coffee woman. Her entire crotch area got melted and MCD tried to get out of paying her medical bills. Between the medical bills and rehab, I wonder how much cash she's got left. While in labor, without pain medication, they had to do a manual rotation. It's where the doctor or midwife puts their hand inside of you to rotate your baby. I could feel every bit of it, and it still gives me nightmares sometimes 5 years later. But my baby and I did okay, which is all I cared about. My 10-pound 10-ounce son got stuck when his arm came out first and got wedged next to his head. Because of placenta placement, the only safe thing to do was push him back up inside me and push his arm back. All this rummaging around, pushing and shoving was done via my vagina. I can still hear my own screaming and my hip bones grating against each other. The pain was mind-bending. My brain took me to a weird, prehistoric, animal place which I've never quite forgotten. Abscessed and infected teeth. Unbelievably painful. Watching my father die. People may say it's emotional, but you feel real pain watching someone you love more than life lose theirs. 2 ovarian cysts bursting at the same time. I had to crawl to get to my phone to call for a ride to the ER.